I'm a big fan of David Pocock's work. I need to do a more full video later on, maybe today, maybe some other day outside the Australian Labor Club to describe the bureaucracy of the Labor Party. So remember, I'm a social democrat. I'm a couple of shades redder than the Labor Party, but it needs to be said that the Labor Party is the default party of government in Australia. And that's not an endorsement so much as a statement of fact. All other political institutions in Australia since the creation of the Labor Party have existed as a response to it. So way back in the day, the protectionists. We won't talk about that because I need to reread the history to make sure I'm giving accurate information on that. So I won't make that statement. But it's a beast. It's a bureaucracy, and Anthony Albanese's job isn't so much to be the Prime Minister of Australia, it's to be the leader of the Labor Party in that institution. His job is to steer that institution into prosperity, and he does that by keeping all of the parts of it together and making sure that people don't attack it who he doesn't want attacking it. So the Labor Party will never seriously take on mining or coal or gas in Australia, because if they do that, it creates a series of enemies for them. And what you want to do if you're the Labor Party to protect your party is to make sure you don't have enemies you don't need, and you want to avoid the attacks, and you want to maintain consolidation. Now, part of the institution, part of the job of the Prime Minister of Australia is to take care of people's professional careers in his party. So at the moment, David Pocock's doing this jobs for mates thing. He's trying to stop the jobs for mates stuff which goes on, which is, person, they finish their work in Parliament and then they move on to a cushier job, and it's widely considered a form of corruption. It is and it isn't. Okay, it is and it isn't. And it's the part of the problem is that you've got these people who have these connections to Parliament. Okay, now what I like about Pocock is that he's what the system of government that we have in Australia was designed around. It was designed around having these independent local representatives. Okay, that was the idea. Okay, and he's doing his job. He's trying to represent his community and the wishes of the community, and making sure that the government is serving the community and the community does not just serve the government. What we need to do is that we need to find better jobs for mates, okay? Because this is going to always happen. Right? You get these people who come out, people in the industry want connections to Parliament, so they hire ex-politicians, so they learn how the system works, and they have this soft influence over the policy. What we need to do is that we need to find better jobs for them where they're not causing problems. So we need to find ways to get these people in positions where they aren't working for, say, the coal company or the gas company. We need to put restrictions on what companies they can work for after Parliament. But you also need to remember, being a politician is a hell of a difficult job. It's not necessarily the case that the best and brightest are attracted to it, although many politicians are bright, despite what people may say. What we need is, I almost feel as if the Governor General's job, part of his job, it should be trying to facilitate places for politicians after they finish their careers, so they don't end up undermining the authority of the government. I feel as if they should be connected through NGOs and things like this, and we warehouse them there, because you're warehousing people with information on your institution. Okay, so we have this problem with intelligence people who work for Asia or ASUS or whatever. What happens when they stop working there, right? What happens when they, that person now has deep knowledge of the inner workings of those institutions? What do we do with them? Well, you need to make sure that they don't end up working for a company which might be able to leverage that. So it's the same problem. It's something that and the solution is to get good at HR. Right? I'm not sure what the legislation should be around it. I haven't spent an exorbitant amount of time thinking about it. I have spent some, but it's a problem which I think the solution might require some nuance. It's always fun trying to hold hold something over the politicians and the people in power, and there's this sense that we hate them because we ain't them. But they're still got. We need to look at the realities of the situation rather than trying to just be vindictive and feel good about bashing politicians. We need to find a way to put these people, after they finish their term in Parliament, in places where they're not going to cause problems for the community. That's what we need to work towards. There will always be a jobs for mates thing, in my opinion, and I think it's just an inevitable part of it, and I think that's also just how the world works as well. I'm at a point of my career where it's time for me to be given a cushy job after all the shit I've been through. Like, I fucking deserve it. You provide immense service. Hopefully there's some point in your career where you don't need to provide that same degree of service all the time. Hopefully there's a point where things get better for you. And I think this is something David Pocock can relate to, seeing as he's also requested that there be more politicians in Canberra, because the amount of work which is required to provide good representation is a large amount of work. It's many hours. They develop a whole lot of useful skills which are highly desirable, and there should be a place for people who are politicians to be able to have work and to have a career after they've been in politics. So let's focus. We need to look for an alternative. But sure, okay. I think it is worth bashing it. I think it's worth bringing it to attention. And this is what Pocock does well. He does some things which are. I will say that again, I vote for him. I support David Pocock. We're allies. We're mates as well. I've got this guy's back, and I'm not going to stab him in the back or anything like that. But part of what he does well in the crossbench is bringing these attentions to light. Okay? And what I like about David is that he's trying to make things actually happen. But even if he doesn't, the process of bringing it to light allows this some form of accountability to happen, and and returning to that accountability every 2 or 3 years is useful, even though when it's not successful. I'm not going to speak too much more about this topic, because this is something I've been thinking on and off about for a couple of months. But I haven't had the opportunity to do the deep research I'd need to be able to provide an opinion which I'd confidently stand behind. But it's a complex. There's always nuance there. I think it would be good if we were able to plan the careers of politicians so that we don't have perverse incentives. That's how we reduce corruption and get good government, but we still need to provide careers for these people after they're in politics. You're not ever going to win friends in the community by saying that, but it's the reality of the case. Have a good day.